Welcome to The Drop, the official podcast of the 130th Airlift Wing. I'm Master Sgt. Eugene Christ. Each year, the 130th Airlift Wing recognizes its outstanding members in 4 categories. 2001 marks the first year the Outstanding Airman of the Year program has been operating under new wing instruction that focuses on recognizing members' achievement over the function of the nomination process. Joining me today is Command Chief Master Sgt. Kevan Williams, author of the new wing instruction. Welcome to the pod, Chief.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Chief, I think before we get to the winners and talk to them a little bit about why they were nominated, I wanted to take a minute and talk about the new program and let you talk a little bit about it so everybody out there listening can have a better idea of the process and how to nominate people, more importantly, going forward.
Looking back in my history as a supervisor, being a superintendent in the propulsion section and having nominated people from there, fast forwarding to superintendent in the safety office and then even in CE, I looked at the program as being somewhat difficult. I noticed that it was very time-consuming to nominate someone. So when we think about our core values, integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do, I began to really look at the integrity aspect of it and say, are we really trying to recognize our airmen for their accomplishments, or are we trying to recognize bullet riders and people who are able to assemble these huge, extensive packages? And so what I noticed was the nominations over the years, they got less and less and less. So as any new coming command chief, you want to make things better. If you care, you want to make things better. And so I thought, what can I do to make it better? And so I shared with Colonel Priest some ideas, and we talked about them, and so I penned a new air wing instruction, and we beat it up and critiqued it, and ultimately he signed it. And I don't think it's perfect. I think there's some places that it's going to continue to grow and develop, sure, but I do feel like it's a step in the right direction. We deliberated over 56 nominations for Airman of the Year in 2020, which is I'm really proud of. I'm really proud that That's awesome. I knew deep down, I knew that supervisors cared. I knew that the chiefs cared, but there needed to be a process that was simplified and put together in a way that we could actually recognize people for their work.
And for the civilian listeners at home, like when you say bullet riding, explain a little bit about what a bullet is. I know all the airmen are like, oh yeah, bullets.
Yeah, well, so like I'm not anti-Air Force. I'm not anti-bullet riding. I'm a proponent of bullet riding classes because we still have EPRs to write. And ultimately, there's a formal award package that needs to be sent to NGB that needs to be on point. It needs to have really accurate bullets, action, impact, result, format. It needs to be there. But I feel like at the quarterly level, let's just, first of all, recognize the folks who are doing good work. Get those turned in, and then from those, there's a selection process that we can maybe talk later about. But as we select our winners each quarter, then we can circle back and really start applying that tongue and quill approach to those packages to get them ready to go to the Guard Bureau.
Right, and I think
to the state, I should say.
And it may even be that kind of process can be confusing too, like that shorthand that we write those things in, that is, if you don't know or are not familiar with it, you look at it and like, this isn't even really English. I don't really understand what's going on here.
It's hard to understand. Oftentimes you need someone to translate acronyms or abbreviations.
Sure.
A lot of things, and so we end up a lot of times, this is me being philosophical, but we can allow ourselves to be lulled into grading the bullet rider and not the performer.
Sure.
We begin to value format over content.
Definitely.
And when you're an E4 out there trying to be good at your AFSC, that's who we want to recognize. The E4 and the E5. I'm banging my pen off of your stuff in here.
You're fun,
pointing my ink pen at you and letting the passion come out in here. But we want those E4s and E5s who are just trying to be good at their job and be valuable to the unit. We want to recognize them, and we want to say, hey, you make planes fly. You make podcasts go on. You make supplies get delivered. You make things happen.
Sure.
And so we want to recognize them and not the bullet rider as much.
So we've kind of addressed some of the barriers that the new program has touched on, but what would you say makes a strong package for the new program?
At the quarterly level is a well-written narrative on the Air Force Form 1206 that thoroughly explains what the airmen did. We found that when that happened, so let me tell you a little bit about the selection process. I think it'll help explain that. So I don't unilaterally pick the winner each quarter, nor does the commander. Each quarter, when the nomination packages, the nominations come in, myself, all 4 group superintendents, and we invite 2 senior NCOs to make the panel more diverse. So we're talking about that's 5 of us, and 2 makes the panel of 7. Mm-hmm. So a panel of 7. So we'll start with the airman of the quarter, and let's just assume that there are 5 nominations on the quarter, and I'll pass out. We'll each take the time. We sit in the commander's conference room, and we read all 5 airman of the quarter packages. And once every single person has read every nomination, I'll have my little notebook, and I'll write down my number 1, number 2, maybe even my number 3 in order that I like. And I'll do this the same way every time. I've got mine, change my mind. I say the same thing every time. And then the conversation starts. And so the chiefs and our invited guests, everyone has the opportunity to say what they want to say about this person's performance or this person's package, or even this person's performance that maybe the person who nominated failed to mention. Whatever. Advocate for your people.
Sure.
What I expected group superintendents to advocate for their own every time, all the time, and that I'd be the tiebreaker.
Sure.
But what I found out is that integrity first. So many times, group superintendents advocated for airmen outside of their group because they saw the great work that they were doing, and it was really cool to be a part of. And then we just vote. There's 7 of us in there, and I tally up the votes. Congratulations, you got 5 votes. You're the airman of the quarter. And so we do that for all 3 categories every quarter, and the quarterly winners are automatically in the running for Airman NCO, Senior NCO of the year. So the expectation then is for that group superintendent to go back to the chief, go back to the supervisor and say, this one is a winner. We've got some work to do. We have to have action, impact, result bullets. We've got to start planning for a bio, some photos, because if they're selected as Airman of the Year, we got work to do.
Sure.
So we focus our energy, our tongue and quill energies, if you will, on the ones that were selected as winners.
Sure. And I feel like that alleviates a lot of stress on several levels, not only yourself, but like frontline supervisors and even the
frontline supervisors. And it seemed like the public affairs office were really happy about the fact that everyone wasn't lined up for pictures outside.
I mean, that may be the case. I'm not going to confirm nor deny any of that.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
So I feel like that kind of basically describes the success of the program, that other individuals outside of the chain of command of the person you're talking about that was nominated, like speaking up for them individually. And I think we're going to talk specifics about some people a little later on.
Yeah.
But reading back through a lot of professional military education, there's a lot of talk about the relation of core values to oneself, and how should we act? How should we apply those to our daily work? In your opinion, Chief?
So my slogan coming in was always humility breeds credibility, and that's a fundamental building block for leadership, and that's just my opinion. My pastor taught me a few years ago that humility is basically the fundamental building block for all positive character traits. So I hang on to that. I hang my hat on that. I want to make it easy for a supervisor to nominate someone that says that person serves, that person stays humble. I don't have to make someone take out the trash.
Sure.
That airman takes out the trash.
Right.
That airman goes above and beyond. That airman goes the extra mile, takes care of their readiness requirements, gets the work done, makes sure their GTC's paid on time. They take care of business.
Sure.
And so let's make it easy to recognize them and award them.
Agreed.
And positive reinforcement goes a long way.
Sure.
It goes a long way.
So I believe we're about ready to call the individual superintendents and the winners. Any final thoughts on the program itself, or?
Yeah, I have one other thought about the program that I failed to mention was that we wanted there to be an issue of fairness when it comes to actually having the capability to become an NCO of the year, a First Sergeant of the year. First Sergeant's a bad example. Airman of the year. I'll just lay it out. So I don't remember the numbers, but I actually counted the enlisted numbers in each section. So if you look at the number of enlisted folks in wing staff, it's far less than, say, maintenance group, far less than mission support group, which is gigantic.
Sure.
So I put in the instruction, I made it population-based. Colonel Priest approved. So basically, if you're part of MSG can submit 3 nominations for every category because of their population. 3 in maintenance group, I think 2 in ops, and then medical and wing staff 1 in each category. And to make it population-based and make it more equitable, maybe is the right way to say it, so that if you'd win out in mission support group, it's difficult. You have a lot of competition there.
Sure.
Just by sheer population.
Okay, Chief. Well, let's get our first 2 guests on the show. Joining us now is Airman First Class Avi Shapiro and Senior Master Sergeant Eric Condon. Senior Master Sergeant Condon, could you talk a little bit about Avi and why she was nominated?
Thank you. Sure, I'd be happy to. Airman Shapiro, she, first and foremost, I think last year she was recognized for having held down the JAG office single-handedly. We were without a full-time JAG and in between a lot of other folks in that office. And she just picked up the ball and ran with it and impressed a lot of people. I'll say in addition to that, she's going to have a positive attitude and I think an assertive nature. She's not afraid to seek answers or solutions, and that's quite impressive for an airman in, I'll say, their early career. And she volunteers for a lot of things around the wing too. When we need someone to fill a spot or take on a task, she's right there. And I think those are the reasons why she was recognized as Airman of the Year this year.
Chief, anything to add?
Just volunteerism is absolutely a strong part of not only her as an airman, but who she is as a person. She cares about so many people. She's incredible. One story I'll share is I'm the brand new command chief, and the adjutant general has wants a statue unveiling ceremony to take place. It might be my first or second drill, still trying to find my way. COVID's going on. It seems like there's a lot of things going on, and I'm trying to figure out how I fit into all this mess. And as I work and try to accomplish tasks, Avi volunteers to not only narrate for the statue unveiling, but to write the script. She wrote the script to perfection. She sought out counsel from people who were good with protocol. She interacted with generals and full-bird colonels at the ceremony flawlessly, and made her command chief look like a pro, and she did it all. And I thought, if there was ever an airman first class that deserved to be recognized, it was her.
That's awesome. So, Airman Shapiro, you'll have to please tell me, how does it feel to be selected and have all these people gush about you?
Well, I have to say thank you to Chief and to Senior Condon for definitely bragging on me, but I also think that, you know, everything that I have been able to contribute to this wing has definitely been a reflection of really strong leadership, mentorship, and just good people that I'm surrounded by. I can almost guarantee that if I were not surrounded by such strong, you know, people of just such a good character, I would probably not be able to engage as well as I have been given the opportunity to. So I definitely want to recognize that. And then I think overall, it's definitely a privilege to be considered, I guess, a representative of the airman category, because I know that this base has so many young airmen like myself who work really hard to balance their school life alongside their military career, alongside just jobs and just the burden of being a young adult. And I think it's so important for these victories of these journeys to be recognized. So I guess overall, it's just my hope that all these young airmen on this base that I really do have the privilege of serving alongside are just encouraged and emboldened to keep putting everything, all their energy, all their time into their goals that they're pursuing, whether it's school or their military career, or just really any goal that they are working towards.
You're not supposed to come on the podcast and outshine everybody, Avi. It's messed up.
That's why she's the champ. That's why she's the champ.
No surprise.
Any final thoughts from anybody before I get you guys off the line?
No, she's absolutely deserving, and we're happy to have her represent us.
Ditto.
All right. Thank you, too. I appreciate your time. Joining us now is Tech Sergeant Alan Pazel and Chief Master Sergeant Larry Doddering. So, Chief Doherty, can you tell us why Sergeant Pazel was nominated and some of his the reasons why he was chosen?
Well, good morning. I do appreciate this opportunity to speak with the drop and to share some of the great things going on with this Outstanding Airman of the Year program. I want to talk a little bit about Tech Sergeant Pazel. He is a member of our maintenance squadron, and he serves as our shop chief in the metals tech shop. And when I look back at the year that Sergeant Pazel had, he faced some of the many challenges that we all face. But what stands out to me about Sergeant Pazel is he really stepped up to the plate when he was called on. With COVID had hit, he stepped forward and he offered some expertise with a 3D printer that he'd purchased with the unit innovation funds, and he developed a PPE prototype. And what it did in essence was allowed the COVID workers to stay safe as they performed their duties. And then lo and behold, he deployed to the AOR, and in the AOR he found himself in an undermanned machine shop performing maintenance on not just our C-130 aircraft, but he worked on the Apaches, the M29, and he even got some experience on the Patriot missile battery. So while there, our aircraft, they experienced some issues with some boost pipes, and Tech Sergeant Pazel went to work with his expertise in developing some sleeves. That allowed our aircraft to keep flying missions, and he was recognized over in the AOR for his work done with that project. He has a master's degree in safety, so we've taken advantage of that and put him in the role of our unit safety rep for the maintenance group, and he's really taken that program and revitalized it. He's putting a lot of emphasis on the preventative shop type safety inspections, and he's serving in that role really well. And when I look back to the calendar year 2020, Tech Sergeant Pazel's performance, it really stood above his peers, making him a perfect nomination for not just Outstanding Airman of the Year for our group, for the wing, and for the state, but I believe he'll compete well at the regional level. So in answering the question why he was nominated, I hope I covered all the bases with trying to let the listeners know why Tech Sergeant Pazel stood out.
Chief Williams.
When I think about Tech Sergeant Alan Pazel, being a former maintainer, and knowing what things look like to be a machinist, to be a metals tech, it's that shop that does vital work. Think about the years where we went through truss mount changes, and those things have to be drilled, and the amount of detail that's necessary in that shop is it can be trying. It can be, and Alan's always been a high performer, always done great work, and just to be quite open and honest, had plenty of opportunities to maybe upstage some people who may have been over him in his chain of command. But I talked a lot about humility yesterday and how I think it eventually helps us to become a credible leader. Alan never aspired to upstage anyone who was over him. He was just in a shop that's, for the most part, kind of set back and not always involved in all the day-to-day conversations. So it's kind of easy to disappear. But Sergeant Pazel didn't just disappear, not to be heard of. He continued to work and develop his craft, gained his master's degree in safety. And today, all that effort over all those years that seemed hidden, they're coming to light today. And I'm just really happy for him, and I'm proud of him, and I think he's got a lot of really cool stuff in front of him.
So, Sergeant Pazel, how does it feel to have won?
Well, it was quite a surprise, especially because there are a lot of airmen out there doing some really great things in the face of the pandemic. So to be singled out in that group of people is quite an honor. So yes, it was a surprise, but I'm very honored to have won.
Any other thoughts?
In regards to the program as a whole, we talked a whole lot about improvements that we wanted to make, and I feel like we've done that. Is it perfect? And so I think our next step forward is to make sure that these airmen receive the proper awards for the recognition for their efforts. When I talk about the awards, I'm talking about the ribbons and the medals that go on the uniform. That, to me, that's our next stage of development. When I look at Sergeant Pazel's 1206, there's room for a lot of awards to be presented to him. Frank, I'm just being real open and honest. He should be wearing a lot more on his service coat than he's got on there right now. But he's not. It's not just him. It's the whole wing could be better at it. So I'm sure Chief Dougherty and myself and the rest of the group and superintendents, we're gonna start talking about that and see if we can grow and get better there as well.
So that's a great point, Chief. And just to kind of piggyback on that, the group has made a really good effort in trying to recognize and honor all the airmen for the outstanding work. And first off, recognizing it is where we begin to get better. But awards programs like the Outstanding Airman of the Year program, the way that the new Air Wing instruction is written, It allows a supervisor to jump in and properly recognize their members. So when I look back at the maintenance group and like everyone else, it was a very challenging year for us when you consider deploying to the AEF. Our aircraft with extended downtime with PDM cycles, it left us short on available tails, and then the COVID mitigation issues. Well, a maintainer can't telework, so we had to find creative ways to support the flying mission, and in addition to that, ask to support the domestic operations. But when I look back at the supervisor corps in the maintenance group, I'm really proud of the way they've embraced this new Air Wing instruction. And, we submitted a total of 9 packages, and 4 of the 9 won at the wing level. So, I'm ecstatic that, the wing as a whole is really stepping up to the plate, and that's really some of your words there, Chief, but stepping up to the plate, knocking it out of the park, and doing a much better job, at least in this area, of getting the Outstanding Airman of the Year program, giving it a new face, giving it a new look, and moving it forward. Yes, we do need to do better with awards, the ribbons, but the group of first sergeants that we have now in the squadrons, it's a point of emphasis for them as well, and I can promise you we'll do better.
All right, gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Joining us now is Senior Master Sergeant Eric Condon and Master Sergeant Dusty Redmond. So, Sergeant Condon, will you give us a brief rundown of why Sergeant Redmond was nominated?
Yes, thank you. I'd be happy to. I think first and foremost, people understand that Sergeant Redmond is absolutely dedicated to the organization. He's one of those first to get here and last to leave guys. He's here on weekends and days off just because of the nature of his job, but he never misses a beat. And with that, he has a tremendous attitude. He has a very important job. He's got to handle a lot of deployments, folks deploying for federal missions, but also state taskings, and there was no shortage of those this past year with COVID. He trains UDMs and coaches other folks around base about all things deployment. And he knows his job, and he has a great deal of credibility. So I think when he was nominated, for a lot of folks, it was a no-brainer. I mean, the guy deserved it.
Chief?
A couple things. I really like that Senior Master Sergeant Condon said he knows his job. That, if we're not careful, can become a lost art. We can allow ourselves to get caught up on PME, which is very important. But first and foremost, we need to be good at our jobs. We need to be good at what we do. We need to be recognized as humble and credible and reliable. And then from then, professional military education comes in, and now we're being prepared to lead. But if we don't build that foundation of knowing our job and being credible, it makes it extremely difficult to lead thereafter. I don't care how much PME you've had, because people don't find you credible. And Dusty's, Master Sergeant Redmond, a.k.a. Dusty, is extremely credible. Extremely hardworking. And I know for a fact that office calls are forwarded to his private cell phone most days of the week and most nights of the week, because he cares about his work and cares about this place.
And we had talked briefly about some of the successes of the new program, but if you would, Chief, talk a little bit about Sergeant Redmond's specific nomination and the process of the selection and how.
Yeah, so I'd mentioned previously that part of the quarterly selection process involves the assembling of the command chief and the group superintendents and some invited guests, senior NCOs, to make the panel more diverse. And I mentioned that I expected superintendents to advocate for their own, because it's their folks, right? One of those neat occurrences where a group superintendent advocated for someone else from another group actually occurred in Sergeant Redmond's case. Chief Dougherty from maintenance, just extremely impressed with his body of work. The bullets needed some work. They needed a little bit of help. Could have been more narrative there, but that's okay. We can fix that stuff. But this person was nominated, and what does this person bring to the table? And let's have a discussion about it as leaders, as enlisted leaders in the organization. And once that started to go around the room, it was unanimous. I mean, from Senior Master Sgt to myself to every group, it's like Master Sergeant Dustin Redmond does work. And we all need him at different times, and he's always there, and he always has answers. And so while the package needed some work, it was an easy selection. And I don't mean easy in that he didn't have competition, because all the packages are competitive.
Sure.
I don't want to imply that whatsoever. But in this instance, it's well-deserved.
So now that
is this where I pay you all the money?
That's
or
right.
do I need
No,
to-
that's lunch.
yeah,
Lunch.
that's in a minute. So now that we've puffed your chest up, Sergeant Redmond, tell us how it feels to be nominated, and just your thoughts on the whole process.
In all seriousness, it is a big honor. This is something that your peers put you in for. It's something that your peers kind of vote for you. I know it goes to the chief level, but we know that other senior NCOs, especially for my level, are kind of selecting this. I could probably name about 10 to 15 other people that work as hard or harder than I do on the space. I tell people all the time that I'm just the one that they notice doing it. At least at this year. There's a lot of people that I work with that make my job a lot easier and make things that are said that I do actually possible. So but it is an absolute honor. I do appreciate the good things that people do say, even though I am paying them to say them. But it's been great.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I do. He said a lot of people who do what I do, and I agree with him entirely, and that's why I'm pleased to say that we deliberated over 56. I said that earlier, but it bears repeating. 56 nominations across the base for the year for people being recognized for what they do. Now, everyone wasn't winner of the quarter or winner of the year, but those who didn't win, I know they go back and they're recognized. Hey, maintenance group, I'd like for you to meet the maintenance group Airman of the quarter, the maintenance group NCO of the quarter. MSG has they're recognized at the group level, at the squadron level. 56 folks are recognized for doing what he does. That's why we wanted to make it simple.
Dusty, any final thoughts?
Oh, I think I'll hold my tongue for once in my life.
Now that's funny right there.
it's when you get it recorded. It's what slows it down.
Welcome now to the podcast, Senior Master Sergeant Tarina Gardner and Senior Master Sergeant Eric Condon. So, Sergeant Condon, if you would, please give us a rundown of why Sergeant Gardner was nominated or was selected as the winner for 2021.
I would say, first and foremost, Senior Master Sergeant Gardner was recognized for her professionalism and passion. First sergeants are in a position to have a significant influence on our members' careers and lives. And Sergeant Gardner is absolutely committed to taking care of airmen and doing it the right way. She's a coach and a mentor in the organization, but also in the community for young folks too. She's an impressive leader.
Chief?
I agree entirely. And beyond that, she's a hard charger. Details matter. Man, when details matter, it makes me happy. because details do matter, right? It's so easy. We think back and we share all those little analogies from basic training. Why does the t-shirt have to be 6 inches? And that translated well for me as an aircraft mechanic. And so when I met Tarina and her passion for first sergeant, her passion to do things well and to do things right, and to always want things to be better, gosh, how could you not be impressed?
So, Sergeant Garner, will you tell us how it feels to win and how it feels to be nominated?
Absolutely. It feels phenomenal to be recognized. I truly appreciate it. I always believe people are recognized. They want to work harder. And with being nominated and being told that I had won the first sergeant, it makes me only want to work harder for the airmen and for the organization. I just want to continue to strive to make processes better and to make things better for our airmen with the big A. Just in general, I think when the recognition's there, I also have a lot of people that helped me get to where I was at. I just recently got promoted, and in my speech, I talked a lot about mentorship, and as Command Chief likes to call it, is coaching. And I think I truly had really, really, really fantastic coaches and mentors to help get me where I am, and to help show me that attention to detail, and to help show me that passion is, it needs to be there. It needs to be involved when you're taking care of people. And so I just want to thank everybody who has mentored me, who has pushed me, who has helped me. And I just want to do that even more so now in the position that I'm at. And I just want our organization to grow.
Final thoughts from everyone.
Here. Well said. I can't say enough about Sergeant Gardner was also selected as the Wing Ops First Sergeant. So she's now, her efforts have, as she said, she's been promoted, and now she's a mentor and a leader for the other first sergeants in the Wing. And she's already taken that on full force. She keeps me straight. She's like, Chief, you have a requirement here. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. Thanks for not letting me fumble. I just don't want to fumble. And so little things like, I make observations, and I can just tell her, I saw this, and then she just immediately makes it better. I said, I've been to a lot of ceremonies over the years, and I noticed that we come to attention, and the next thing I know, we're being told to be seated, or we're clapping our hands, and we can be put at ease, or we can be put at parade rest, or we can be put at rest from attention, but we can't be told to sit down. We can't applaud. And we just attended a change of command ceremony and operations that she put together, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it was first class, everything about it. So that's what you get when you get Senior Master Sergeant Tarina Gardner.
Yeah, I'll add that through her professionalism and passion, she sets an excellent example. Just the way her disposition and the way she conducts herself day in and day out here at the Wing. She's that way consistently, and as a good person, especially in the role that she's in as a first sergeant, for a lot of folks in this organization to look up to. So we're lucky to have her.
Thank you, Senior.
My pride will not allow me to mention that she beats me in every workout. So she's a good example.
Everybody already knows
that.
Yeah. Sure, won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for this episode of The Drop. For more information about the 130th Airlift Wing, visit us at the web at www.130aw.ang.af.mil. Additionally, you can find us on all social media platforms. Lastly, you can see us in the skies delivering freedom with courage. This has been Master Sergeant Eugene Christ reminding you to stay ready to go.